My name is Orlando Bowen. I am a former football player. I currently run a youth leadership development charity called One Voice, One Team. What would you say, or how excited would you be if you had everything you ever wanted? Beautiful family, you have all the stuff that you ever wanted, and then one day it was just gone. I found myself in that situation. I felt like I had everything that I ever wanted. I was doing some acting, I was playing professional football, just signed a contract with a team that some of my colleagues had also signed with, so we were excited. We decided to go out, carpool, celebrate. I get to the carpool location first. I'm waiting for my buddies to come. As I look, I see two guys approaching me. One of the guys says, "Hey man, what you got? You got any drugs?" And I'm thinking, man, I'm probably the last person in the world you should be asking for that. But I just looked at them and said, no, I don't. And to make a long story short, the guys surrounded me, grabbed me, threw me down to the ground, started punching, kicking. They were armed with pistols. And I was just wondering what the heck is going on. It wasn't making sense. My head split, my face was busted up, and I knew I wasn't going to make it out that night. I was convinced that I was going to die. And in that instant, I started to think about the things that were important to me. My family, my beautiful wife, my son, our unborn child, and just thinking, I just want to see my family again. And also thinking, I have so much in me to give. I don't want to die like this. I did make it out. One of the most challenging things was finding out that the folks that I was assaulted by were two undercover police officers, two corrupt undercover police officers. And when they found out that I trained police officers and I was very involved in the community, a huge cover-up began. I was taken to jail, wasn't allowed to speak to anyone, drugs were planted at the scene, and I was just left kind of wondering what was going on. I wasn't allowed to talk to anyone. I remember being in the jail cell and hearing people getting released from their cells and thinking, okay, good, I'm gonna get to go home. So I saw a gentleman walking past. I said, "Excuse me, when do I get to go home?" He said, "Home? You're not going home. You have a bail hearing." I said, "A bail hearing for what?" He said, "Don't you know what you've been charged with?" And I was thinking, charged? He said, "You've been charged with assaulting a police officer in possession of a controlled substance." So I'm thinking, what the heck are you talking about? I couldn't believe it, but it was real. And the reality was I was taken to the courthouse, and those were indeed the charges. And we spent years battling, getting to the point where we were getting ready to get the verdict, and I got a call from the Toronto Star saying that the arresting officer was himself arrested by the RCMP for trafficking cocaine. It was very interesting. Things took an interesting turn. And the folks that were trying to convict me actually called and said, "Hey, listen, we know you're friends with the chief and the mayor. We don't think it would be fair for you to go through this whole court trial process. Why don't you let us drop the charges? Everyone could go home and be happy." Well, as you could imagine, it's not about just dropping charges and people going home and being happy. This is about principle. This whole journey had been about principle. So I said, no, I'm not going to let you drop the charges on that premise. I'd rather be wrongfully convicted in a court of law versus striking a deal on that premise. And they said, fine. You had your chance, buddy. Going down. Took us to court, tried to let the judge drop the charges. The judge said, no, I'm not going to allow you to drop the charges. Further to that, I'm going to rule today I find Mr. Bowen innocent. These are the reasons why. That wasn't the end, though, because all the things that I had been doing, I'd been involved in, my athletic career was finished. I couldn't play football anymore. The community work that I was doing, I felt no longer wanted. I was asked not to go places that I had gone before, and it was just a really difficult time. But I'm going to tell you what, I wrote a letter to the gentleman that I was assaulted by, thanking them. Thanking them for the insight they gave me in terms of how precious life is and how precious the time that we have with our loved ones and just people that we meet on a day-to-day basis, how precious that is. Because even though I was out serving, I didn't really understand how important that was And as passionate as I was about what I did, that passion is now a clear understanding of the reason why I have breath in my body. It's to serve. And this experience gave me that perspective. So I express my gratitude to the gentleman I was assaulted by. I thank them for making me a better father, better husband, a better brother, better son, because they really gave me perspective. So when I think about forgiveness, it's something that's really deep. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. It's not a concept, but it's how I choose to live my life. When we harbor things inside and we'll think you have so much hate for someone, it's actually doing more damage to you than to anyone else, right? It's powerful in terms of the example that it sets for other people when you're able to forgive someone that has hurt you. Life is too short. We're too gifted, too blessed to not forgive and grow and embrace and love people unconditionally. So my challenge to you is to embrace it, not just as a concept, but as a way that you choose to live and the way you choose to treat other people, even if they do you wrong, even if they break your heart, even if they disappoint. How are you going to embody all the great things that you have inside and use forgiveness as a lens that you look through when folks hurt you? Let's take it to the next level. It's game time.